Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have something that I'd like to talk to you about today, and that something is the Banana Prosthetics SP8 Soft Packer from Etsy. Now, it's a new entry into my Bag of Dicks series, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, then you know that I am not big on packing, which is really ironic coming from a guy who literally has a packing series on his YouTube channel. But I just have always had issues finding a packer that really kind of checked all the boxes for me. A packer that, you know, wasn't uncomfortable to wear for long periods of time, a packer that didn't make me look like I had a boner 24/7. And that's part of the reason why I created the Bag of Dicks series, because I wanted to use this as kind of a way of documenting different ways, or different packers, and kind of figuring out what I liked, what I disliked, while also giving you guys some tips on, you know, just like packers that I thought were worth it versus packers I thought weren't worth it. And I don't want to jump the gun on this one here, but I might have to say this could be the one. If you're new here, this is my series, Bag of Dicks. I review packers and toys and things like that. So there's a rating scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. There are a couple different variables or factors that we take into account here in these videos. The first one being affordability. Then we talk about variability, realisticness, wearability, durability, and finally usability. So all of those are, like I said, rated on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'll go more in depth as we go along, obviously. So without further ado, let's get into this packer review. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this one because, like I said, I have really just been blown away by this packer, and I've only had it for like a week and a half. This is the packer in the original packaging that it came in. So it just says soft packer, and then it has the name at the bottom here, Banana Prosthetics. And then on the back, this package or this company is based in Canada, so there's both English and French here. They have their social medias here at the bottom, and then this little QR code is really sick. If you scan this QR code, it pulls up the care instructions for the packer, which I thought was really nice. And then they also have this little advertisement here for their own personal packing underwear and packing harnesses that they make. They're called Cocoa Nuts. I do not use the Cocoa Nuts products, so I won't be talking about them in this video. So the packer that I'm going to be talking to you guys about is the SP8. Like I said, it's about 4 inches, and mine is in the shade T2, not the widest one available, but like the second widest one. But the first factor that we're going to talk about in this video is, of course, affordability. We want to get that one out of the way right away. I did give this packer an 8 out of 10 on the affordability scale. I paid 53 euros, almost 54, because like it was like 53.80 something. The packer was on sale when I bought it, which was kind of a reason why I bought it, because it was cheaper than most packers with this amount of quality and detail on the market. For example, if I were to buy a similar packer from like Real Magic or from Immocil, it would have been much more expensive, much closer to like 80 euros, I'll say. But since it was on sale, that was a deciding factor for me to go ahead and purchase this. The full price without like any sale or anything like that, and not including shipping, of course, is closer to 65 euros. And like I said, this company is based in Canada, so if you're in the EU like me, just be aware that you will have to pay customs fees. I had to pay an extra like 15 bucks to go pick this thing up from the post office. So yeah, just be aware of that. They have 2 options that influence the price, and it's like the level of squishiness of the packer itself. That's why I gave this packer an 8 out of 10 on the affordability scale, because I feel like even when it's not on sale, 65 euros is a really good price when you take into consideration the quality and the detail in this packer. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for affordability. The next factor that I'm going to talk to you guys about is variability. Like I said earlier, I have the T2 shade, and this packer does come in 7 skin tone shades. And there's, like I said, 2 options for like the squishiness, I guess, or like the feel of the packer. And because of these options, I just gave it a 6 out of 10. I feel like 7 skin tone shades is a pretty good amount, you know, like it's not too limiting. However, the 2 levels of feel, or I guess like squishiness, I'm not sure how to like address it, but those 2 levels I feel like are a bit lacking, I guess, in comparison to other competitors such as Real Magic or Immocil. But if you're like me and you don't really give a fuck about like the squishability or passing the grope test or whatever you want to call it, then this packer has literally all you need. The factor that everybody always wants to know the most about, realisticness. Overall, I gave it a 6 out of 10 on the realisticness scale. Again, because it's not made to be realistic. It's not made like the Real Magic packers where they do crazy detailed paint jobs even on just their most basic soft packers, and that's fine for me. When I'm looking for a daily wear soft packer, I'm not really looking at whether or not it's a believable looking prosthetic, because I'm not going to be walking around in just the prosthetic, if that makes sense. Especially for a soft packer, it's going to be hidden under my underwear, under my pants. Like, nobody's going to be looking at it really. So I don't really give a fuck if it's the most realistic packer on the market. But the amount of texture and detail in the silicone of this packer is honestly, for the price point and for what it is, really, really nice. This is the packer. This is what I was talking about. The amount of detail in just the scrotum and the shaft and the tip. Obviously, this is an uncircumcised model. So yeah, you've got some foreskin details. You've got the veins in the shaft. You've got the wrinkles and such in the scrotum and everything. Like, the detail is just, in my opinion, again, for this price point and for what the packer is, just really, really nice. If it weren't for the fact that I needed to hold it like this to make a video about it, I would literally be wearing it right now. I've been wearing it nonstop since I bought it. It actually does pass the grope test or the squish test, especially if you've been wearing it for hours on end, like after I wear it to the gym or after I've worn it for most of the morning. By around midday, like, this thing feels so nice, so squishy, because the silicone heats up with the heat of your body. So again, the realisticness, I give it a 6 out of 10 because the details are great, the texture is great. It's just the paint job that's a little bit lacking. But if you're like me and you're not really looking for a fancy schmancy, incredibly detailed, this is the packer for you, because it's just like, I'm really not the type of trans guy to sit here and spout the term gender euphoria, because I've personally never really resonated with that term, but this packer gives me gender euphoria. The next factor that we're going to talk about is wearability. So like I said, this is the kind of like harder silicone version, so it's meant to be more durable than the soft version or the extra soft version, and it's meant to be worn daily. It's meant to kind of stand up to more rigorous activity, I guess. I wear it to the gym, I wear it walking around running errands, I wear it riding my bike around. One complaint that I always have about soft packers is, like, they always make the balls fucking massive on these packers for some reason. This one, the balls I feel like are super proportional to the size of the actual packer itself. It never feels like it's in the way, like I've got balloons in between my legs or anything like that. I've never had that dreadful feeling inside of me where if a packer reminds me that I'm wearing a packer, I have that, oh shit, I'm wearing a packer moment. I don't know if you guys can relate to me on that. Maybe that's just a thing that I experienced, but if you can relate, sound off in the comments. I would love the reassurance. This packer has never given me that, oh shit, I'm wearing a packer feeling. I literally put it on and forget it's there until the end of the day when I have to take it off to sleep. So I'm gonna show here the back of this prosthetic. It is flat and it's got this extra skin tab on the top there. If you're familiar with packers, then you know what that skin tab is for, what that flat back is for. It is actually compatible with adhesive strips or adhesive backings. So if you're the type of person who refuses or just doesn't like to use or wear packing briefs or packing harnesses, then this packer is perfect for you because it has that flat back where you can use any adhesive that you like. I use a packing harness. It's just the comfort harness from Peacock. I think I've talked about it in previous videos. And it works really well. I never have to worry about it being moved around or jostled or like shifted out of position. I feel very secure and safe when wearing that. So the wearability of this gets a 10 out of 10. I love it. I could ramble for hours about this packer just because I've had such a great experience with it. The last two factors that we're going to talk about is durability and usability. I've already kind of touched on both of these, but just for the sake of the video and for the sake of the series, we'll keep it consistent. For durability, I gave it a 9 out of 10, and for usability, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Speaking on durability first, I've only had it for about a week and a half, but the silicone has held up really well. I haven't noticed any sort of like real signs of wear and tear. The only sort of like recommendation or cautionary tale I would give you for this packer is to use some sort of like powder, like talcum powder, which is the one I use, because the silicone does get sticky after you wash it, and personally I don't like that, so I use a little bit of talcum powder just to kind of make it softer and more comfortable to wear. Usability, 10 out of 10. I cannot recommend this packer enough. If you can afford it, if you can shell out that extra 60 euros, which honestly isn't that bad, because if you're in the market for packers, you know that some of these companies really charge outlandish prices for their packers. The 65 euros is definitely worth it. This packer is probably the best packer I've ever owned. I really just have like no complaints. I keep thinking of like, you know, is there a con to this packer? No, I cannot think of any possible cons. I cannot think of anything that would turn me away from recommending it to a friend or to any of you who are watching this video now. It's just an overall really, really well-made packer. This is probably the first packer in this series where I have not had any sort of actual negative things to say about it. So after we've added all of these scores up, we are going to get an overall score of 8 out of 10 for the Banana Prosthetics SP8 soft packer. I will, of course, be leaving the link to this packer in the description of this video. The Etsy store has multiple different types of packers, so if you want one that's smaller, if you want one that's bigger, if you want one that's circumcised, they have all these different options on their website. So yeah, if you're interested in this specific packer, head down to the description. I will be putting the link down at the bottom like I usually do for these types of videos. If you have any sort of experience with these packers, with this company, I would love to hear your feedback. They had a lot of great reviews on Etsy, but they're not really a company that I've seen circulating around on YouTube or anything like that. So I'm curious to know if anybody else has ever received a packer from this company. If you guys have any sort of like negative experiences with them, I would love to hear just what it was like, whether you liked it or not. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here at this point, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end, and I will see y'all in the next video.